Hello, Taurus. How's everybody doing today? I hope that you're doing well. I can't wait to take a look at November. It's hard to believe we're really looking here finally at the last quarter of the year. Feels like for those of you that are joining me live that October's already flying by as well. So this is a really important time to look at things because I believe that both October and November are very productive months. Once we kind of hit the midpoint of November, though, things start to get a little tricky. So I want to try to give you everything that you can to get a head start and get ahead. And that was one of your messages today. So we'll talk about that in just a second. Let me begin by introducing myself. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This little furry creature is Apollo. He likes to join at the beginning sometimes. What we'll be looking at today is the sign of Taurus. Obviously, for the month of November, you can use it for sun, rising, and moon. And if you know other aspects of your astrological chart, of course, you can use it for that as well. I also welcome cross-watching, and because the beginning portion of my readings includes a psychic download, you can really tune in anytime I go live, and you might receive something that's relevant at the beginning. Also, meditations at the end are always welcome. So if you get something out of this reading, show up, you're welcome. It's a nice community. And I see a lot of channel members here today with the green text. Thank you so much for your continued support. And many of you show up more than one time a month too, so it's good to see you. Let's talk a little bit about the format of the reading. I like to separate it in about 4 major parts. The beginning portion is a psychic download. Before every reading, I like to meditate, but also the night before I set an intention to receive downloads, and that comes in the way of dreams and visions. And so in the middle of the night, I'll tap it into my phone, and I did a few of those for you today. And then also I receive additional messages through channeled messages, and I would show it to you, but Apollo's being patient here, so we'll just let him sit. So the beginning portion is just me connecting with guides. There we go. He's like, all right, Dad, get to work. And a lot of that is right here in front of me. And after that, we're gonna use the cards to pull a Celtic Cross, and that's a little more tactical. We'll look at high points, challenges, and other opportunities that are interspersed across the month, and gives you kind of a really nice bird's eye view of what's going on. And I like to let that take on whatever flavor or focus it wants to. So I don't solely focus it on just work or just relationships. Whatever wants to come through will come through. Then we get a little bit more specific as I go into the expanded forecast, which includes health, wealth, love, and destiny. At that point, I'll do a quick review because it's a lot that we'll cover. And then we get into the soul path. The soul path for every sign is unique. It's based on trends that I see both in the channeled messages and also the cards, and it gives us a chance to clarify anything that comes through. After that, a meditation will take place, and I will also play a singing bowl. So there'll be a sound bath and meditation to help you integrate any of the healing, especially that needs to happen. And that is what is coming through. So before I get started, just a couple quick notes. First of all, like I said, welcome to everyone. If you're new, you're in for a treat. If you're a returning member, thank you so much for coming back. You make my day. It's nice to see people here every time I show up. Ryan and Maria are my moderators. If you have any high-level questions, they'll help you with that. They also keep the room organized, and I appreciate that. One last thing, I don't do Q&A. I know a lot of readers will do Q&A. So basically, I need to focus. I enter into a little bit of a channel, and if I were to look at each and every question, I'll periodically look to make sure everything's resonating, but I don't take questions. The way that Super Chat works here is it's a way to support me. And if you like what you see, feel free to do this. I'm in the process of continuing to upgrade my decks. Like I said, I've had about 4 or 5 new ones over the past few months. I'll take a look this month and see what's calling to me when I look at Amazon or US Games. So I'll keep you posted on that. But please feel free to send a sticker or encouragement if you would like to using this emoji. And if you happen to be watching this on replay, there's a new feature called Applaud. Not applause, but it's a way to also give back. And it's right there, like you'll see thumb up, thumb down, and then share, and it's between all of those. And that's another way to support me. All right, let's get into the reading and talk about what's coming through again for the month of November. Since this is a live kind of broadcast, you might also feel like this is relevant now, and it should be because it's going to be what's coming through for November, so you can actively affect that. That's why you're showing up early. The first thing that I received from my guides was messages around partnerships. Now, when I say partnerships, not everyone is in a love relationship, but I believe partnerships can include a lot of things. It can be a roommate situation, a friendship, a work coworker kind of relationship. It can also be love. Specifically for those that are in a love relationship, what I was seeing was kind of like this 8 of Cups on and off sort of thing, where some of you, it's like a warm coat. You put it on and it's comfortable, but it's kind of got all these holes in it, and you know it's time to probably try something new, but you keep putting on that same comfortable piece of clothing. So partnerships of convenience versus like an authentic connection, and maybe even predictability. Because of COVID-19, there's a lot of partnerships of convenience. Like sometimes we have to keep a job that we don't like or we don't feel safe doing anymore, or that we've outgrown. I was talking to Aries yesterday about that. A lot of times now, as we go back to our old workplaces or school places or places in general, it's like, this isn't the same as it used to be. That's because you've changed. But we stay in those partnerships because we need it and it was working before. But there's a call to action this month for all signs. For yours, it's really evaluating the people and the connections, not so much the spaces as it was with Aries. So as you're looking at those people that you're connected to, do a little internal audit and ask yourself, am I in this because it's right or because I don't know what else to do? And if you don't know what else to do, it's okay. That's just sort of like back when you were in elementary school, you would have like a writing prompt, right? It would give you something to think about. So think about what else you could be connected to, or who else you might want to be connected to, and use it now as inspiration to do better, and to maybe think that it's either going to be time to commit. So if you've been on and off, go all in and say, all right, we're on. And if we're on, we're really going to be on. Or release and say, I want more than this. This is chaotic. It's kind of like, like a strobe light. If it's on and off, you can't get your orientation, right? So I feel like relationships across the board are at a turning point. Again, if you're single and happy, this could just have to do with your work or your roommate situation. If you're in a relationship or you've been dating someone on and off, it has to do with that core connection. And it's just really a question of, can I make it like a deeper, more important relationship than it is, or am I just being pulled now to move in a different direction? No right or wrong answer, but the guides are kind of pushing you to get clarity on this so that it can go in a positive direction. Because one thing to think about is that the time that you're spending, even in those relationships of convenience, it does take you away from other things that could be of a higher frequency. So if you're not happy or not happy enough, then this is your call to try to figure out how you can be more happy, if that makes sense, okay? The other thing that came through, and this was as I was writing the cards, I went to school in the 90s, in college and university, but I remembered an REM song, Everybody Hurts, great album, Automatic for the People. And what it reminded me is that kind of like the 9 of Pentacles cards, we had a talk about this yesterday, that it's a card of independence and self-sufficiency, but one other trend that I'm seeing for signs this month is to be comfortable asking for help or leaning on other people. So this is really important when it comes to understanding sort of like tax information, legal information, policies. So if you're in a company, it's good to sometimes say, I need to get clarity on that. That's different from like, I don't know. But you can also say, I don't know, or I want to find out is a better way. Say, this is interesting. I want to learn more about this. Just a different way to say, I don't know, but it's an empowering way, because you're going to put yourself in a position of absorbing, of integrating, of learning. So choose to learn, choose to ask people, lean on people, because that makes you stronger. That's how you learned every strong person has a team around them that helps. So just know that it's okay. I'm encouraging people to ask for help. But for you, I feel like there could also be some emotional support, because I literally heard that in my head as I was making these note cards, and I haven't heard that song for maybe like 10 years or something. And so I know that my guides were playing Cosmic DJ with me to kind of like remind you of that. Now, all of these have to do with relationships and communication, this first line of information. So if you're feeling shy or uncertain or kind of closed off a little bit, chances are someone else does as well. And what you could be doing this month is just trying to be more inclusive in activities and invitations. And if you're having a conversation with someone, you can check in and say, how are you feeling about what we just talked about? Do you have any questions? First of all, it's a great way to wake people up on a Zoom call. if they're chewing their cereal, doing some other things, it's sort of like, let's check in real quick. What do you think? So you can activate and engage people that might be falling asleep by doing that. But it could also be a way to make sure that you're not just talking and talking and talking without it resonating, right? Okay. The next thing is about breaking some of the tension. Now, I think that there's a fine line when it comes to humor. And so what I was kind of getting on this was also having a sense of humor about yourself, about what's going on. There's so much that's serious and difficult in the world right now that, the other night, actually, I was listening to just a comedy show, like a comedian, a stand-up comedian. And I felt so much better after looking at that versus maybe tuning into, I listen to the news daily just to kind of keep up with what's going on. Not a lot, enough to be informed, but I also needed that relief from everything else, because you can laugh, you can cry, you can exercise, you can scream, that you've somehow got to channel, or you can be creative, you can write and paint. But we need ways to relieve and to release the energy within. So laughter's good. And if you can laugh with the ones that you love, you're going to be able to deepen those relationships a little bit more, and then maybe talk about something serious after. Maybe earlier this year, I can't remember when we last talked about this. Have you ever noticed sometimes at a funeral, even that there's this need to sometimes you want to cry or laugh, or it's this weird fine line. I had to give a eulogy once where it was a person that they were like a comedian, basically, just a practical joke person. And part of me giving a proper eulogy was saying, this person was sometimes just a pain in the butt, weren't they? But we're going to remember all of those jokes, the smile on their face, and the fact that, they lived life with joy in their heart. And that was true to the person. And it made everyone laugh. And then they stopped crying for a second and they felt really good about it. So know that laughter can be a really good tool if it's used appropriate and authentically, not in a sarcastic way, not in a hurtful way, but in an honest way, or something like, this is insane, isn't it? Like, who would have thought this would have happened? And then you can kind of get into something tactical. So don't be afraid to laugh at yourself with what's going on. That helps, because if we take ourselves too seriously, we're just heavy energy. And if we can break the energy also and kind of find something that feels good to laugh about, that could be really healing. Even if you're sad, sometimes it makes the sadness, it makes it more dealable, okay? Excuse me. The next thing that I wanted to look at was leadership. And the way that my guides illustrated this was they kind of took me up in a bird's eye view. And I was looking at different groups of people. You were in the lead, and by a long shot too. And there was a different sort of terrain where you were at. So it was like a different world. And for some reason, it felt like you were kind of waiting for people to catch up, waiting to figure out, am I in the right place? And I think some of that had to do with maybe the lack of feedback, the lack of being able to assess your place based on others. 2020 has been a year during which we are all being called to know ourselves, trust ourselves, and not kind of need or read so much of that group energy as much as we used to, because it's important, but it is not all powerful. We did come to this planet for personal growth and development. And so this year is like the PhD version of that, where we're really getting to know ourselves. So to kind of imagine it as a wolf pack, you're the leader of the pack. You're going to be ahead of that group quite a bit. The other ones are going to be following you. This means that there might be something in your life where people don't get what you're doing. Maybe it's you're going back to school, or you're changing your career path, or you're leaving a marriage, or you're getting married, something that's life affirming and life changing. People around you may question your clarity, but as long as you feel good about it, then I think that this is the right time to do it, because I just saw that you were just a little bit ahead. For those of you that are creative and in a sort of innovative mind right now, this is fantastic. It's telling me that you're starting to tune into what 2021 and 2022 are about. And a lot of times we're setting ourselves up for that. Where I'm at right now, I made this change happen like back in 2015. It's been a 5 or 6 year journey to get where I'm at. And now I understand why I was called to leave corporate, why I needed to start a couple of businesses and do a lot of different things on the side, because I knew that this was happening on some level, this weird year that we've just been through. So even though you might feel disoriented or you might feel lost, it's okay. You're not getting the feedback, but as long as it feels right, that's okay. Now more than ever, you want to tune into that inner intention and voice, and also intuition. I forgot to put it on there, but obviously that's something that you can infer from all of those. Think of it this way. You're being gifted a head start. So just because no one's around you doesn't mean that you're lost or behind or doing something wrong. I want you to be productive. Right now, we're going to talk about timing in a moment here, but strike while the iron is hot. If you have great ideas or have something that you feel like you need or want to do, that also is a gift from the universe to say, do it. It's time. Go for it. Okay. So that is another sort of cosmic gift that's coming through for you. I'm going to jump to this middle card here, and then we'll talk about the other things. The time that you are given will be enough because it's all you have and you're going to make it work. If you're feeling like I need to do more, lean into your kind of like your cosmic or energetic street team, if you will. We all have them. We have at least one guide, sometimes more. They can be human and non-human. I have a wolf as one of my guides. And then I have, angels and spirit guides and other things. But we have a lot of different sort of energy around us that can help us. So one thing that I'll do sometimes is ask for like intuitive goggles to help me look through something. If I have to edit a video or some text or something like that, I try to pull myself out. And then I'm surprised sometimes I can just open a book up and find things quickly. Or I'm called sometimes, I'll just say like, there's a lot going on. Give me a mental alert today if there's something that I need. Sometimes it's a weird bill or payment that comes up and I wouldn't have seen it otherwise, but I, for whatever reason, log into an account. I know that those are times that I'm guided because I wouldn't normally do it. What am I doing? I'm just listening to myself all the time, the little thoughts, the little ideas, and I follow them. But I ask for help. I'm like, I need a little bit extra right now because I'm trying to get this stuff done. If you do that and you listen, you'd be surprised. The time that you're given will be enough time because that's exactly what the universe decided that you needed. So just trust yourself when that happens. Show up, keep up, and you're going to be held up. But you have to show up and keep up. You can't just be there and say, all right, make it all happen. This isn't a management position. This is you doing it and having then energy coming through to guide you to do it as well. And as you show up and invest and are 110% invested in what you're doing, guides, angels, etc., will come through and help you through that sort of that last push, like the last mile. This was something that even this morning I learned. Patience, persistence. These two things are super important. They're going to help you prevail. Be strong, whether it's in your voice, in your approach. Don't give up. If you have to be a little annoying on something, be annoying to get something done. I'm often surprised at, I forget the exact phrase, but what is it? The squeaky wheel gets the oil or something like that. Sometimes you have to continue to speak up, talk about something to the point that people just want you to stop talking and they'll fix the problem. So if it's a problem with your bank, with your landlord, with something else like that where you're working through bureaucracy or legal, you have to just be persistent and eventually they want to get you off the docket and on to the next thing. So that was another message that came through. This last one is about personal healing. And when I first got the messages, I needed some more clarity, and the guides turned it into something that's kind of more about yourself. So the first thing that they said was, I love you or I'm sorry. You need to say that more, but not to necessarily everyone around you. These are things that you can say to yourself because love, forgiveness, and acceptance begins within. If you do not love yourself, if you do not accept and forgive the mistakes that you've made or the choices that you've made, there's really no mistakes. There's just decisions that we made. And if you choose to not learn from them, then you're never going to be able to receive the love, acceptance, and support of others around you because you don't love and accept yourself. So there's this month a gentle nudge to say you're amazing. You're a work in progress. You're not perfect, but if you can continue to acknowledge that you could do better, you are doing better, and you love what you're becoming, then that's going to be enough. But if you can't kind of love who you are and love who you're becoming, then other people are going to have a hard time connecting with you. It's never easy to say or think these things, but it can set you free. Words are alchemy, they're alchemic. And these are very, very alchemic words. Love is the language of God and the universe. It carries with you after this existence. So an act of self-love and forgiveness is amazing. It will, if you were like a credit card and you have APR, it's going to increase your APR and your credit score because of how much you are kind of emanating that energy. And then the sorry thing doesn't necessarily, you don't have to say you're sorry to yourself. You just have to forgive yourself. It's a little different if you're pushing that inward. Forgive yourself. Hard to do, right? But once you do that, then you can start to feel this sense of relief. Like, okay, it's okay. I will do better. I'm choosing to do better. Anyone that suffered through an addiction or maybe a separation or an accident, car accident, whatever, like we make mistakes. You just try to be better than you were in the future, better than you were in the past in the future. So enough said with all of that. Let's move along now to the Celtic Cross, and we're going to take a look at some additional messages. Let me just neatly stack all of these up because at the midpoint, I will review these messages one more time with the additional insights that we gained from the Celtic Cross. So hopefully everybody's doing well today. Good to see you here. All right, let's get started. Again, if you just joined, this is for Taurus, November, sun, rising, moon. All right, everybody, thank you so much for giving me a moment to get all the cards laid out. We'll start with the catalyst. A catalyst in my particular layout here is a connective thread. It helps keep all of us in the highest frequency. It helps us avoid any potential pitfalls. And basically, it's like a compass that ties us all together. So stand your ground, which is something that I was talking about with the persistence. This card is upside down, but it doesn't matter because as we see here, just like if you were to look at mountains right next to the water, you would see a reflection. And so the fact that we're seeing a reflection here is interesting, especially when it's kind of talking about communication. I would say, take a look in your life in any sort of difficult encounters, especially if you're trying to be persuasive, trying to get your point across? And are you kind of butting heads with someone because you have a lot in common, perhaps? And that can be a weird thing to think about, especially if it's someone that drives you crazy. If you do have something in common, maybe you can use that to connect with the person. In persuasive arguments or discussions, it's often effective to empathize and sympathize with the way the person feels. So if you're standing your ground, which would mean that there is something that you're trying to get across, it's good to begin the discussion or the exchange with, it has to be heartfelt or it's not going to really work. Otherwise, it sounds like when a politician says my esteemed colleague, and they really mean that they hate them. Don't do that. A better version of this would be, you know what, I actually understand what you're talking about. You probably are feeling like this, and this. I actually used to have that same experience for a long time, actually. And it wasn't until this that I changed my mind. But let's talk about it a little bit. I think we actually have a lot of the same interests here and the same concerns. Find a common ground, talk about it. Let them know that you value their opinion, even if you don't agree with it. Maybe concede that they have some valid points. Maybe concede that there's room that you could meet in the middle, then present what your idea is, then open yourself up to discussing that. And you can still stay firm, like, I'm really keen on this, but I'm open to this and this. And if you give and take a little bit like that, you're going to be good. Just figure out what it is that you can't let go of. Standing your ground on that one issue is going to be super important, but the rest of it, there might be a little bit of, it's like a dance, right? Whenever you're doing a negotiation. You're never going to get everything that you want, but if you can get most of it, it's going to be good. So figure out what the concession will be and realize what I'm seeing here is there's a lot of commonality. It's just from a different vantage point. That's what the reflection is showing us. When you're looking at the water, it's a little warped, it's a little rippled, it's not quite the same. The colors are a little different, but it's the same source. So there's something about this here where I feel like you guys and at one point they all touch the reflection and the mountains. So there is a point where you can come together. You can't go all the way here, you can't go all the way here, so you've got to find that middle line. I think if you can do that, you're going to be able to solve whatever negotiation it is or whatever you're trying to solve. Okay, good. We have a lot of partnership energy, which is what I was tuning into at the beginning. Partnerships of convenience versus authentic connection was what I wrote down here, actually, the first card. And there would be a relationship turning point. So right at the center, we have the Two of Cups or Two of Vessels in this one. And then we have the Lovers here. So notice how the center card was reversed and the Lovers are upright. So it can go either direction. If you're feeling right now that you're being taken for granted or you're putting more energy into the relationship than the other person, this is a chance for reciprocity or balance to come through. So I do believe for those of you in a relationship where you want a little bit more, that middle line that I was just talking about could very much be this. So consider fighting for it if you want to. But there could also be a choice that this isn't enough. I'm tired of constantly giving and not receiving because the cups are reversed. I want someone who's committed fully. The Lovers or the Four of Wands would be more of a commitment card than the Two of Cups, which is a little bit more, there's more playful energy with it. It definitely is a love card, but it doesn't mean necessarily like marriage right off the bat. So what we see here is exploring to see if that connection is real, if it's valid. And I think that for many of you in a current relationship is what the question is. Is this enough? Am I getting what am I receiving what I'm giving, or is it off a little bit? And here's the interesting thing. This deck, the mirror, is actually the Hanged Man, and I wrote it down to make sure because it sometimes pops up, but it is. But I like it because what we see here with the mirror, she's holding the moon, it looks like almost. She could be holding just a globe too. But with the Hanged Man, there's a pause that needs to happen. So we're pausing on this partnership to reflect and think, is this enough? Am I getting what I need? And I noticed this last month that there's like a funeral boat in the background. So it can go either way. You can either decide to commit or move on. And this card is sort of asking you to look at that reflection, which we also got here, and think about, are we sort of like, is this a feedback loop, which is something that I saw earlier, where I just felt like there was coming together, falling apart, and it was just thing that never stopped. That's exhausting. If that's what you're in, it's probably time to stop that. Or is this something where we're just not talking and we need to talk better or listen better? If that's the case, then you can probably work on it, because we have the Eight of Pentacles in the crowning position. There just has to be a joint decision, especially when we look at the ego. It's about joining on this one. So if you both decide to equally work, then you can fix it. If not, it's time. If you're looking for love this month, you might have a couple of choices in front of you. You may be dragging your feet a little bit, because the Hanged Man is just that. It's sometimes a plateau, and it's over top of the Two of Cups reverse, which is a hesitating energy to me, not so much an open one. So know this: if you're looking for love, it looks like it's coming through, but are you ready? Is something holding you back? If it is, that's what you want to examine. And if you do meet someone this month, be discerning, because I feel like there might be a couple of options on the table. So you don't want to just settle for something that's good enough. There was a Sarah McLachlan song actually called Good Enough, and there's so much more than that, as she reminded us. Like settling is settling. So it can't be out of convenience. It can't be out of just because. It should be a legitimate and authentic connection, and that's the message that the guides are kind of like hammering through me this month. If you're single and happy, wow, you've got some good opportunities on the horizon here, because we have Eight of Pentacles in the crowning position. So there's a chance to sort of use this attractive energy and connect with new people. Just make sure that the partnerships make sense. The same warnings hold true even for a business engagement. Let's go into your deep past. We have the Queen of Wands. I'm happy. There's a change that's happening with Queen of Wands energy. She's been reversed a lot. Now she's upright. And I've been noticing that predominantly this month here. But this is a very unusual version of the Queen of Wands, because normally she would be in a desert. She's in a forest here. And we see the sort of fertile energy as illustrated by this hare or rabbit. And notice the exaggerated ears on this rabbit. So your leadership abilities this month, and your management abilities this month, are going to heavily rely on your listening, your ability to integrate what's being said and done, and figure out how to kind of either lead people into the next level of whatever it is you're doing, or if there's a problem, you're going to have to deal with it. You can't sort of like, the monkeys with hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. You can't avoid hearing evil this month. You have to, if there's something coming through, basically the universe is going to amplify it. And so if you ignore it, then something big will happen, and you don't want that to happen. So if you're hearing it either clairaudiently, if you're hearing it in your heart and soul, if you're seeing it, you have to kind of act on it this month, and you're being called to lead. And that's why Deep Past shows a heavy leadership card here. Queen of Wands is magical. She can make anything happen. Again, usually the fact that she's in a desert and there's flowers growing around her shows me that she can take limited resources and grow them. So in that way, I actually think she can be more powerful than the Queen of Pentacles, which just takes something. She's just using what's around her. But the Queen of Wands is sort of like keen and cunning and very sort of scrappy even, and able to make things work. So like I said, the time that you're given will be enough. Feedback that you receive is valid. Really use this and lead by example. She's also a very demonstrative card. So I think that your nonverbal communication, your ability to listen, and your ability to take what you have and make the best of it is going to be really, really important this month. Four of Pentacles, and that's probably why she came through with Four of Pentacles energy at the beginning, because all of a sudden it's doubled here by the time we get to the top. So the Four of Pentacles, a lot of times, just like the Two of Pentacles, isn't always about money, it's about emotions. And we can see the timid nature with this little baby doe here or whatever. And basically it's sort of like, I feel like I'm ready, I want to build something, I want to get started, but I'm not sure if I'm enough. Because normally Four of Pentacles, there's a little coin right over the heart, and it's about self-worth. Remember what I was talking about at the end of the channeled messages, where it's about loving and forgiving and valuing yourself. And when you do that, all of a sudden it's like your APR or your credit score improves, your cosmic credit score. That's what's going to happen here when you start to value yourself, trust yourself, and invest in yourself. So this is saying it's okay now. It's time to come out. It's time to be the you that you've always wanted to be. It's been safe where you're at, but it's it's the past. It's literally in the past here. So time to let go, time to open your heart, time to try new things. You can take it slow. When I think of any age or gender deer, basically you don't want to act too fast or it runs. So easy does it. Make an action plan. And that's what we see here in the crowning position. The Eight of Pentacles, one of my favorite cards because the return on investment is almost guaranteed as long as you show up. As I was saying, if you show up, you're held up, you're supported. So this is a really good time to go all in and put a lot of work in it. So it doesn't always have to be school. It can just be a decision like, I'm going to work on this in my life. I'm going to work on this aspect of myself, et cetera, et cetera. I like that the main message on this card is skill. And I wasn't even looking at the other ones. We see here that it's protection. So you've been protecting yourself. And you don't have to do that anymore. That's the message here. So for this, it's to lean into your knowledge and your skills. As I was mentioning with the other one, we have the attraction on this one. So it can just be about the fact that what are you attracting? What are you calling in? It's really important that we talk about like attraction and protection, because if you are constantly protecting yourself, it's almost like you're inviting in things that are challenging that. So it's sort of like, if I believe that I'm going to be hurt, I'm inviting in situations where people are testing, like, why do you think you need to get hurt? Should I, so you want to feel strong. I'm strong. You obviously want to protect yourself. You want to lock your doors. You need insurance, things like that. But you can't live in constant fear that bad things will happen or you attract those things. It's just a law of attraction there. So, and focus instead on working on how to be better, how to be stronger, how to be more confident, how to kind of like bring that self-worth into a good space. And then we see a return on this. This leads to the Three of Pentacles, which is mastering. So this is like the apprentice or the finishing card, and the Three of Pentacles will be the eventual success that you're going to get. And yeah, let's see. And we got it right here. Yes, Three of Pentacles. So, and it's in the near future. So it hit in a nice way. So this is where your head is now. This is where you're headed. Notice how I like how this particular Three of Pentacles is literally grounded. You can see now that you're solid and you're ready and you're moving and you're growing because of what you've done here. Couple little notes on these cards with the Eight of Pentacles and the Wildwood deck, which is what I'm using here. Notice the hand on the wall. There's a couple ways you can read this. First of all, this month, you may be someone who, like I said, is leading or helping other people. You could be the helping hand. I also mentioned, referencing that old song from the 90s, everybody hurts or everyone needs help sometimes. So maybe you need the helping hand. Somehow that helping hand is going to play an important role in you getting to the next level, because then we see the Three of Pentacles. This particular card just highlighted the word creativity. Now for me, the Three of Pentacles can also show recognition, success, and delivery. In a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, you would see someone kind of like carving out something on an eave and people looking at them and observing sort of like the sculpting or the work that they've done. And so there is a creative element. It can be a card for writers. It can be a card for musicians, for architects, for anyone that's putting something to paper. So know that this is a really good month to do that if you'd like to. The interesting thing that you see with this one is surrender. You notice that she's sort of like receiving from the cosmos. So kind of allow yourself some time this month to receive. I receive in dreams. I receive in meditation. Also, if I just sit and write, it comes through me. So there's different methods for each of us. Some of us dance and we receive in, sort of like inspiration and information. Whatever your conduit to the creative is, open it up this month, and you should feel like your muses are with you, basically. All right, as we look in your ego, I'm really happy that we have the Forest Lovers or the Lovers here. That's showing me, again, a chance to bring things to a good place. Partner, resolve things, partner with other people, resolve things with other people. Also just attract in great opportunities. It's one of the best and most auspicious cards you could get in that ego placement. So do what you will with that. There's really nothing negative to say about this. The only thing that I see with this particular illustration is watching how their hands are kind of like tied with the ribbons and everything. Just make sure that when you commit to someone or something that you feel it, mind, body, and spirit, because it is a commitment. It is a contract, and these contracts take a while to release. I know that in this lifetime, I've had to do a lot of contract releases to let go of stuff. So because you're more awake and more aware now, do your best to only make a contract or a connection that really makes sense so that you don't have to do a release in a few months or in another lifetime. All right, so let's move to the environment. And so arrows in this particular deck are swords, and we have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords, I think we could all agree, is one of our least, it's the cards I like the least, because it has to do not just with, I would say, this one says insecurity, but also accountability. So this could have to do with someone around you that is just unable, unwilling to sort of see themselves the way they should. We see this person kind of pinned in place with all of these arrows, and also a little bit overly dramatic about all of this. And so there could be someone in your midst that you've either caught just not doing what they said they were going to do, or you're starting to tune into the fact that they have something with their thought process or commitment energy where they just let it go and they're not aware of it. And if you call them out, the sort of drama switch might be hit and they go into this sort of, what, me? Well, where's this coming from? And you have to kind of tune in and see, is it authentic? Is it, what's going on with this person? So I feel like there is something in your environment that needs to be cleaned up a little bit. So it could be a person that just falls short of commitments, is unaware or unable or unwilling to be there the way they need to be there. And sometimes we'll go with the word that's on here. They could be acting out of insecurity. So some of this behavior may not be sort of malicious, but it has to do with the fact that they don't value or trust themselves enough. So in a traditional Seven of Swords, you see someone stealing away in the night. So they're taking what they can wherever they can because they're kind of waiting for people to do that to them. And that's a weird expectation. I don't kind of subscribe to that. It's hard to put myself into that energy, but that's kind of what I'm seeing, is someone who's been hurt and expects to be hurt, so they hurt people. And so it's not so much that they're bad, it's that they've been stuck in a cycle. So you could try to help them out of the cycle, or you could just try to let them deal with their karma and move into an energy that's a little bit more compatible with yours. When it comes to us, and it's uncomfortable because we have a mirror card here at the center, even though it's the Hanged Man, it's just a mirror one. It's just saying, keep your commitments. So if you say you're going to do it, do it. If you say you're going to show up, show up. If you can't, just let somebody know. It's not a big deal. It's just about communication. And with the Eight of Stones and the Three of Stones, or Eight of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles, there's a lot of ways you can do that. Texting, calling, whatever. That's the important thing. I think transparency is key. Enough said. Let's move along to hopes, fears, and opportunities. We have the Nine of Cups. Love it. One of my favorite cards, actually, when it's in the upright position, because it really shows your ability to have a positive outlook on life and to take the best and really embrace it. And that's what we see in this card. This one isn't about, we don't see someone that's overweight or that's having a difficult time dealing with things like a usual Nine of Cups card. We see someone that's actually tapped into all the positive energy of the universe, and they're harnessing that. It's a beautiful illustration, and it's kind of like an elevated magician, like a master magician here. So your sort of key magical element this month would be, how can I get excited, positive, or motivated about something? Even if I've got a lot of work to do, even if I've got a lot of things that I'm dealing with, what can I do to get excited again about showing up? This Nine of Cups is focusing on the positive elements and is using that. Look at all of its, I mean, for a Cups card, we can also see the fiery energy, even though it's water. So just know that passion can burn just as brightly as anything else. So kind of, that's what I'm seeing here, is the passion in your heart. Also the lower three chakras coming through, because we forget the second chakra, the sexual chakra, is really important for creative output. So be in touch with what really moves you. And that's what I'm seeing here. We have a little bit of green, but we also have like yellow and orange. So we're looking at second, third, and fourth chakras coming through. There's just a little bit of green here too. So if you can harness these sort of middle chakras, a lot of really cool things can happen. And I hope you can do that. Nothing really negative to say about that, because it's right there in possibilities and it's not reversed. So we're not going to worry about that one too much. I would say if you go to extremes, that's the only thing with the Nine of Cups. So focus on making sure that you don't get ahead. Like I said, getting ahead is good, but you can sometimes go so fast, so far, burning yourself out, I think is where this would really be. So try not to burn yourself out. It looks like you're already able to get ahead. So at a certain point, that's going to have to be enough. I guess that's my caution on that one. All right. Finally, we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. We have a little links here on this one, which I like. Okay, so a page is great. It's of all the different court cards, it's the most timid and the most muted of them. The fact that this one is reversed is saying that some of you, just like the all of the pentacles, it's interesting. We have half up, half down, but with this one, it feels like there's a need to invest a little bit in yourself. I tend to not see these cards as like selfish when they're reversed. I see them instead as, what do I need to focus on before I'm ready to move on? So it's almost like the links would be pulling back a little bit. So for some of you, there's a desire maybe to finish either something that you're working on before you're letting it go. Maybe you want to go back to school and finish something, since we have like basically school and college cards basically here. Maybe you just feel this sense of, am I enough? Whatever it is, it feels like you have to land on that feeling like I'm ready, or this is what I'm going to do to feel like it's enough, or that I know what's next. So focus on what it is that's causing hesitation, because everything else, the fact that we have 2 of Cups, the Lovers, and the 8 of Pentacles in really key positions shows me that movement is possible. So you just have to decide to go forward. All right, let's move along now to the expanded forecast. We're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. Starting with the health card, which is mind, body, and spirit. You're exactly where you need to be, which is actually a message I think that I said for another sign. I think I said it for Aries maybe, but with this, and this is kind of what I saw, like a different country, or to quote Shakespeare, I think undiscovered country was how he put it. So imagine that you're in that undiscovered country where things are familiar but unfamiliar, and you're alone, but you never know how long you're going to be alone, because I feel like you're possibly stepping into leadership. We see a little owl there representing your guides coming through and showing you the way. We also see a little bird here in the background. So you have whispers of intuition all around you. If you're uncertain, you can ask for help, you can ask for support, you can ask for feedback, but the guides are actually hoping that you can also receive the sense that it's okay from within. So the confirmation is, if you need to do something different or uncomfortable or unusual this month, it's okay. So that change is a good change. And that's basically what this is saying. If you're going to make we're looking at health. So this is a way of thinking or a way of living or a way of operating. The change is necessary. Let me look quickly at the cards and see if there's some additional messages. Whenever I see the 4 of Pentacles in reverse, find a way to release tension. I saw this also for Aries. Just focus on opening up the heart a little bit. Specifically, I got it in channeled messages, but you're just getting it in a card. So the stress could be just kind of how you're holding yourself. So focus on better posture, on Pilates, on exercise, on meditation. Do whatever you can to kind of open up the chest area. Okay, the other thing that I'm seeing with the 7 of Swords, if you want to change something this month, and the Hanged Man, no more delays. That's basically what I'm seeing with these two, because the Hanged Man is a card of waiting for something to happen, and the 7 of Swords is waiting for someone to tell you to do it. So the leadership energy that I was talking about earlier is just you committing to making that change and then sticking with it. And if you fall off the bandwagon a little bit, just hop right back on and keep pushing, okay? Let's take a look at wealth. Refusing to see. So for me, wealth includes that self-confidence. And when we're looking at this too, it's hard to connect with the person when the eyes are down. So focus on really truly seeing yourself for who you are, how other people see you, reflecting on that a little bit, and realizing that you're projecting also your insecurities. So try to see what the positives are. Talk to someone who really loves and cares about you and see what they think. They may have some insights that surprise you in a positive way. Also, we see the third eye on that helmet. This reminds me a little bit of like the X-Men, Magneto, where he puts that on his head to kind of like block things out. So I feel like some of you could have a little bit of a mental block this month when it comes to possibilities. So really let's see if I put it down. I think I might have changed it. So I wrote this and I think I put it in the trash bin. There's no such thing as a bad idea, or there's no such thing as something that's just not good enough. Maybe it needs a little more time to bake or to cook a little bit. But I feel like I want you to keep an open mind and just allow for the possibilities to reveal themselves, okay? Just like I probably should have rewrote that card one more time before I put it in the trash bin. This card is saying, like, give it a little bit more time and look at it and meditate on it a little bit, okay? There's a possibility possibly right in front of you that you don't see or are not entertaining because you've limited yourself. And that's something that's kind of intrinsic to the Four of Pentacles. Also, we see it here with the hand card too. With the Eight of Pentacles with the hand right up there, there's like almost someone saying, hey, listen, I've got an idea. There's something that you need to pay attention to. And with the Queen of Wands, the more you listen to your clairaudience, your clairsentience, to things around you as well, the better you're going to be able to tap into that and do something positive with it. I'm happy with the overall trend of the money cards and the resource cards. They go from 4 to 8 to 3. And I know that doesn't make sense, but if you follow tarot, and I know you do, the 3 is actually stronger than the 8, 3 of Pentacles, because it shows recognition, and it's the Master card. That's the Apprentice card. So I see a fear card here, then I see a development card here, and then I see an acceptance and sort of just stability card here. And then we actually then go to the Page of Pentacles here, which is, it's the right movement. You're going in the right direction. You just have to trust yourself, okay? So I see a lot of resources at your disposal. Let's look at love and relationships. Dream a little dream, or just dream a little. And the interesting thing with this is not to limit yourself, just kind of like we were looking at with this. I think that you should be able to have the dream, whatever the dream is, with your relationships in your life and your partnerships in your life. And if you're not feeling that dream, I mean, granted, relationships or work, there's a reality of having to sort of like really push through things, especially if you have children and or you're taking care of an older parent. You know, there's complications that make relationships strained, but there should still be that feeling of, this is the one that I wanted. This is the person that I choose. And you should feel that reciprocity between the two of you. And if that dream isn't coming true the way you need it to, work with your partner. But also, if you're picky, there's a little note here from the universe, which is be patient. Be patient, be persistent, because it's easy to settle. It's not easy to wait. And what you could do is send the sign to the universe, like, I'm very clear on who I am. I love and forgive myself. I'm ready for abundance in all forms, and I'm ready for it now. I don't need to wait any longer. The wait is over. You could send that little postcard to the universe and say, it's okay. I'm really ready for it now. Make sure you are, because I did see hesitation here. So just say it and mean it, and then you might be surprised with how quickly that shows up. We see a little opening here as I'm looking at the Destiny card. It's like an egg. Frequency shift. That's the old you. This is the new you. And we can see that new energy coming through. This is a chakra deck. So this is also kind of showing your ability to connect here with kind of like the throat and the third eye, more the throat energy. Interestingly enough, I'm wearing that color today too. So I really want you to focus on your communication. We had a voice card for Aries there yesterday too. So your ability to communicate, I think for you, it could be different levels. It doesn't have to just be through your writing, but I see it here with both of these cards. These are kind of intrinsic to written communication or putting something into words that could be very powerful for you. Overall, everything's shifting you into a better energy and a better place. Let's go ahead now and review what we've talked about. We'll go a little bit deeper then in a moment and see how we can get you into that frequency shift, and see if there's anything else that I can help you with and help you resolve. So let me just get all the cards ready, and let's get started. Okay, so let's begin with the partnership messages. Many of you may be looking at your partnerships this month and wondering, is this it? Is this what I wanted? We saw the dream a little dream, then we also saw the kind of contrasting energy of the Two of Cups here at the center reversed versus the Forest Lovers or the Lovers upright. So it should be authentic connections, not just because it's easy. And then we have here a relationship turning point, either rekindle or release, especially for those of you that feel like you're constantly on, off, on, off. Everyone at every level needs support at some point. It's important to ask. It's a sign of strength, not weakness. Even if you feel shy or unsure, remember others are doing that or feeling that as well. So what you could do this month is kind of come out of your shell, even though it's a little difficult for some of you, and try to engage, try to connect. You might be surprised that you're able to make a connection with someone else in that same sort of energy. Having a good laugh will help break the tension. Just make sure that it's good, good-natured humor. I'm not a fan of sarcasm. I don't think that that's ever good. Laughing at someone else's expense is actually just hurting them and laughing at them. So don't do that. If you're being called right now to lead the pack, it can be a little bit scary, but it is what's coming through for you. What does that mean? It means that sometimes you're going to feel disoriented. Like, why am I not getting the feedback or the support that I need? Am I doing this right? People that are either famous or in power or kind of marching to the beat of their own drum, that's often the way it is. You just have to trust yourself. And it's kind of very interesting when you look at leaders that do that. It takes a lot to be able to not have that feedback. Now more than ever, you're being asked to go into that inner compass, listen to your voice, your intention, your intuition, and realize that if you are kind of finding yourself out there on a limb, you've been gifted a head start. Use that time. It doesn't happen all the time. And if you're getting inspiration, do something about the inspiration. Strike while that inspiration is fresh in your head and in your heart. Patience and persistence are powerful. They will be the most important tools in your arsenal. Be strong, stand up for yourself. Remember, as we'll talk about in a second, that you can use the tool of reflection. You can also use the tool of kind of negotiation and diplomacy to get something done and find the middle line. The time that you're given will be enough. It's all you've got anyway. So just call on your guides for a little bit of assistance and ask if they can help sharpen your vision and your spiritual acuity. It's kind of like putting on a pair of glasses. You can see everything a little bit clearer. Show up, keep up. You'll be held up by the universe, but you have to show up and keep up. So that's like giving 110%. Can't give 30% and expect the universe to come in the extra 70. It doesn't work that way. That's what we just talked about. Okay. Sleep on any decision. You're going to have a clearer mind later. And I think that the missing piece to this, and I'll add it in when I type it up later, is to not discount something. Just trust that there might be a kernel of usefulness to that. When I do my my notes from the dreams, I don't tap out everything that I see, but I'll type most of it. And then later I'm like, oh yes, that's how this works. And then I restate it. So you need to have at least a record of your idea. That's how brainstorming works. That's how you can get a stronger idea from something. Say I love you, or I'm sorry, or I accept that apology, or accept what I've done. And it's especially important if we're turning this inward. And that's what the guides were asking. It's difficult to do, but when you do that towards yourself, then you start to open up that in others. Because if you can't love, forgive, and accept yourself, nobody's going to be able to do that for you. Let me just take a drink of water or tea, as it were. All right, your catalyst. I feel like on some levels you have a lot in common with someone that you're trying to negotiate with. Also, you may not be seeing your own self-worth, as we saw with the Four of Pentacles. So try to see yourself in a positive light. Know that actually, ironically and interestingly enough, will help others see you in a positive light. If you have to negotiate with someone, find the middle ground. You have more of a sort of, if we had a Venn diagram, there'd be an overlap, and that's where you want to go. You have something where the two of you can actually agree. We have the Two of Cups at the center, and this is what we're talking about. There's something that needs to be balanced or negotiated. It's interesting that we see that like flaming heart between the two of them, and it really is a chance to let that passion grow or let it go. We have the Mirror, which in this particular deck is actually the Hanged Man. And with this Hanged Man, it's the only one that I've really seen with this, but we have a choice to stay or go. And it's up to you, and it's up to what you're seeing and how you're feeling. This bird has a little pouch around its neck, and it almost reminded me of an albatross too. So the relationship should not feel like an albatross, something that's kind of weighing you down. It should feel like it's something that's good. Queen of Wands, really practice active listening this month. And demonstrative leadership. Walk the walk always with the Queen of Wands. People are paying attention to you. Don't underestimate yourself. Don't be afraid to step forward. Trust your skills, develop your skills, move into the next big thing. You're attracting higher relationships if you want to. You can improve existing relationships if you want to. The only thing holding you or others back right now is accountability, insecurity, or maybe just not being completely honest with one another. The Seven of Swords is a card that's tricky at best. One of the elements of it, though, is sometimes you have to just cut losses. So if you feel like you have to do that, it's okay. You have to do what's best for you. You have a very positive card here showing your ability to be successful when you're positive, when you're passionate. So however you can get into that energy this month, please do that. Page of Pentacles in reverse, a desire to want to serve oneself this month in a way that feels good, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just figure out what it is that you need to do to feel better, to feel confident, and I feel like this extra pentacle here will bring you into a better place. The 4 and the 5 of Pentacles can sometimes just be insecurity. The 4 is sometimes one that we just have or we're holding on to ourselves. The 5 is sometimes given to us by family members, but they can be kind of a little bit of an overlap with that. So just trust and invest in yourself this month. That's the best energy that you can do, or the best investment of energy you can give, I should say. You're in uncharted territory. That's what I saw. This mirrors kind of what I saw, although I was looking at kind of more of a tundra scene in my meditation. So wherever you're at, it may feel weird. It may feel isolated. It's okay. Talk to somebody. That's really what I'm feeling with this too. It's a good time if you need to go to a psychologist or talk to a friend. You can talk to somebody. Try to see what's possible and don't limit your thoughts, dreams, or possibilities. To that end, especially when it comes to relationships, don't settle. That's kind of like what I was trying to say with partnership of convenience. Don't settle. If it's not enough, you need to push for what you want. If we're talking about using your voice this month, that's one of the things that's important. And that's what we see here. There's a reemergence here. I kind of see like a heart here, but then I see an egg here. Anyway, there's a frequency shift and there's a lot of possibility for you to break free from something this month. So I hope you can do it. All right. I'm going to help you do it by looking at the soul path, and let's focus on, I want to look at the Hanged Man. I want to see, should you stay, should you go? What's up with what we're seeing there? Okay. All right, we have the 5 of Arrows, 5 of Swords. I talk about sister cards sometimes. 5 of Swords and 7 of Swords are sister cards to me. This one, we actually see someone carefully and wonderfully avoiding the crossfire of communication that they don't need to get involved with. So this, to me, I'm seeing the arrows as drama, communication, temptation, and this, what is it, a ram, a goat, whatever. It's happily getting through all of that. And it's like, nope, I'm not going to do that. It is frustrated. The card is literally called frustration here. But for me, the 5 of Swords is frustrating because I had one of these kind of exchanges with like customer service for a company the other day where it took, I'm not exaggerating, 10 interactions with the company to fix something that only involved like one piece of action on their part. It wasn't until the 10th communication, I think they were just tired of me, that they did it. So know that although it's frustrating, sometimes you're going to have to navigate that landmine of going back and forth and in and out, and that's okay. And you'll be all right. You're going to get through this. That's what we see. We don't see that this is this goat or whatever is hit by any of these arrows. So it's just important to be persistent. Okay, be persistent. Be aware. Listen. You're going to be able to negotiate this landmine, and then more importantly, fight the fights that matter and drop the ones that don't. Because the 5 and the 7 of Swords are kind of, there's not a lot you can win with them. With the 5, you can navigate it, and you can successfully decide what to focus on. With the 7, you want to try to show what needs to be dealt with and then decide to fight or to go. But both of these are, there's going to be a little bit of decision, how much to push, how much to pull back a little bit. And so fight the fights that matter, let the other ones go, and focus instead on not getting involved in everyone else's drama. You can't fix it all. And this Queen of Wands learned her lesson. She's upright. She's like, yeah, I'm just going to listen. I'm not going to tell you what to do on that. So that's another great skill that you can use, is just say, I'm here to listen. You don't have to give advice. And then if you don't give the advice, then you can't be held accountable for that. Sometimes people just need validation. And it can be just as powerful as telling them what to do, because letting them decide for themselves is actually going to empower them to be a stronger person, right? That's basically what a psychologist does. They help us find the compass within. They don't just give us the map. I try to do a little bit of the same here. I give you choices, but I won't tell you what to do, because otherwise I'm taking away your ability to decide for yourself. Okay. Let's look at, I want to see what the 8 of Pentacles and 3 of Pentacles, what's this creative opportunity in front of you? And do you need help, or what's going on with that? So we have 7 of Pentacles, which is a healing card. So for some of you, it's just important for you to take some time to yourself. And this is the burnout thing that I was talking about with a warning of the 9 of Cups. Just make sure that your body is in a good place. You're getting enough rest, you're eating well, that you're not pushing yourself so far that you let something go. Because without your health, you're not going to have any wealth, and you're not going to be happy, and you can't love somebody. So your health is probably the most important thing, and especially in 2020. It's the thing that holds us through the year. So focus on that. 7 of Pentacles is also a period of recovery after disappointment or difficulty. So like financially, maybe it's been a rough year. Maybe you're coming out of it, a sort of difficult period. This is saying you are grounded now, especially when I look at this card. You've got your feet on solid ground now. You won't make the same mistakes as long as you stay accountable and honest with yourself. Because this card was touching the ego. So just, if you need an accountability buddy, this could be as easy as, like, for those of you that, like, back when we could go to the gym, right? You could have like a workout buddy that would say, hey, let's go. Even if you didn't want to get up, the two of you would do that so that you would do, so basically sometimes we need someone there to help keep us honest. So if you need that, go for it. But at the very least, treat yourself to something that allows for some healing to take place. And as long as your body and your energy stays strong, then you'll be able to access what we see in the 8 of Pentacles and the 3 of Pentacles. I do believe some of you just need someone to listen to you, or to heal you, or to help you. So it's coming through again. Yes, a little bit of help, not a lot. 7 of Pentacles shows growth and healing. So I'm happy that that was the main message. Just give yourself that growth and healing that you need. Let's look at the frequency shift. 4 of Swords. Okay, so we have 2 cards here that show kind of like, to me, death and rebirth. So for some of you, as you let go of something and you're waiting, I think, to make that decision, then we see the metamorphosis here. The 4 of Swords is a death card. These are both very gentle death cards, transformation or developmental cards. With the 4 of Swords here, there's something that you need to lay to rest. Because typically you would see kind of like a tombstone, and you see a person kind of carved on the side laying out on that. So it's like, I'm going to put this to rest so that I can move forward, so I can move on, so I can become something else, so that you can emerge as the butterfly here. So for you, it's sort of, again, it could be a feeling of try not to feel defeat, or try to feel like anything negative about this. I feel like it's sort of, thank you for the lessons that I learned. Thank you for that experience. I no longer need it. I no longer desire it. I'm ready to release it. I'm ready to rise above it. And that's really what this is saying here. If you can just bless it and move on, that's going to be really, really important for your overall frequency shift. Appreciating what you went through, because it's giving you the wings, giving you the insight to become who you're now sort of embracing and exploring to become. All right, so some exciting messages overall. And as we kind of quickly look at the soul cards one more time, fight the fights that matter, but not every fight. Be like the Queen of Wands with the gigantic ears. Listen. Active listening is going to maybe be a lot more powerful than trying to step in and fix everything, because it's a battle. As we see with this card, heal yourself, take some time, don't overdo it. Know that if you made a mistake in the past, you're not destined to continue to do it as long as you decide that you're not going to. Become something different. Move on. Let go. This is a gentle release card. Gentle. So whatever you're letting go of or releasing, it feels to me like it will be easier than you think. Okay. Let's meditate. And as I'm looking at this, I really love the butterfly. And sometimes we do this. So we'll kind of like go into that safety, that cocoon, and come out different. Someone new, something new. Let me go ahead and get the singing bowl. While I'm doing that, if you haven't hit like and subscribe, please consider doing it. It's free and it helps my channel a lot. And I know you probably get sick of YouTubers saying it, but it actually makes a difference. So if you like this, consider doing that. And I'll thank you in advance. Otherwise, get into a comfortably seated position. And as I'm looking at this, because we're using the Wildwood deck, I want to go into the forest. It's so lush and green and everything's beautiful in this particular deck. So let's imagine that you are in the forest, the beginning of the morning, as the sun is rising. Close your eyes and see yourself kind of laying down on this beautiful sort of mossy carpet in the forest. Imagine that there's a clearing in the center, but you're in a deeply wooded space. So quiet that there are no city sounds. It's just the sounds of birds in the upper reaches of the trees. Maybe occasionally you can hear a twig or a branch moving as a squirrel or as a forest animal walks by. And as you sit here laying in the grass, laying on the moss, feeling supported by the earth beneath you, there's a complete feeling of love actually around you, because the green colors, the green canopy around you, it's the color of the heart, at the heart chakra, and you can feel this energy starting to infuse with your arms and legs, which are touching the ground. You can feel like you're almost breathing in that beautiful energy. And if you were to look at yourself from the sky, you would just be this beautiful green, heart-based energy glowing on the planet. So as you start to receive this energy of growth and abundance, it's not accidental that we see that sometimes on printed money, or that we see it as a sign of growth, because it is going to allow you to become more than you are, more than you thought you could be. So allow for this energy to start to join in with your body. And as you look at the sun gently coming through the canopy of trees above, these gentle beads of energy start to find their way towards you, and you can almost see the particles of light. It's not just a sort of beam of light. You see all these little tiny dots that are gently coalescing around your body and upgrading each and every cell, taking away any of the lower frequency energy that might have attached itself to you. And it's almost like this little massage, like we saw that you could possibly be getting when I looked at the Seven of Pentacles. Just imagine that the light's going in and it's working its magic. And as it does this, between that beautiful golden light and this beautiful green energy of the forest, you feel for the first time in a long time that you're alive, you're awake, you're inspired, you're ready for all the possibilities in front of you. I want you to just allow your body to stay here, but imagine that spiritually you could astrally project yourself and walk over to a tree that you like, of your liking, and this is going to be the tree that, just like a monarch butterfly, you're going to create your cocoon, and we're going to allow you to go into a chrysalis state and become something more than. So just touch the tree and know that this is going to be enough. We don't have to go crazy with it. Just touch the tree, feel the energy of the tree as you breathe in. Imagine that your lungs and the tree, you're breathing at the same time, you're connected, you can feel the forest magic around you. You can lean back on the tree for a moment now if you'd like as you exhale. I want you to, in your mind's eye or in your heart, wherever you feel this energy coming, I want you to see who it is that you want to be, what it is you want to do. And I want you to start to see that energy imprinting. If you could kind of look at yourself, you could even from the ground look at the new you and see the transposition of these two energies. So one, a representation of who you are, and another showing who you will become. See the two of these sort of fading in, fading out, and then see this beautiful cocoon of energy around the two as you start to meditate and become that which you desire to be. Close your eyes, allow the singing bowl to amplify your vision of what's possible, and wrap yourself in this comfortable energy, and then we're going to walk out of it in a moment. It's kind of like you're in a nice warm blanket. It's a beautiful energetic cocoon around you. It's not like the butterfly one. Okay. Deep breath, inhale. Take a deep breath. Exhale. I want you to feel the energetic wall around you that you've created, this energy of creation, actually, and imagine that you could just gently poke and move it away, kind of like a curtain. And I want you now to step out and feel that if you really want to go into the butterfly imagery, that your combination of human and angel or human and butterfly, so you see these beautiful wings that are stretching out from your shoulder blades. They could be energetic wings, they could be literal wings. You could see this sort of rainbow color if you would like. Imagine that it has all of the sort of delicate energy that you would see with the butterfly, but also the power. And I'd like you to take just a moment before we wake up here to get a bird's eye view of you and your life, because that's what I saw in my dream last night. So I want you to get above your body just a little bit, and I want you to look at where you're at, look at where your family's at, look at where your coworkers are at, look at how far you've come, and just commit to stay on path and realize you're exactly where you need to be right now. That's what we got in your health card. And if there's any changes that you want to make, imagine now that you can see the path unfold, that there's a clearing in the forest and you know exactly where to go. And it's that assurance now that if I've been lost, I'm not anymore. And I wasn't really lost, I just wasn't sure. So just see the path in front of you, take the information back into your body, take a nice deep breath, inhale. I want you now to fly to your body. And imagine that you could come in through the crown chakra, this time maybe as small as a butterfly, going into the crown, holding the energy of transformation, maybe pushing the wings back out through your shoulder blades so that they're there with you, giving you the ability to speed through all the changes in your life, to have that sort of delicate but powerful energy with you. And welcome to the new you. Welcome to the ability now to become something more than, to rise above. So if you haven't already, on the next exhale, you can gently open your eyes. Welcome back, everybody. It's good to see you again. Let's take a moment here just to wrap everything up. I'm glad a lot of folks stuck around for the meditation. That's my favorite part, so thank you. If you were kind enough to give a contribution, I want to thank you in advance. Later today, I will make sure to put a little note of gratitude in one of the pinned comments. I'm going to be going through some ways that you can give back or connect with me, everything here is on my website. So it's nicholasashbaugh.com. If you can't spell my name or can't figure out where this is, just click on the About tab on my main profile page, and all the links to everything is really right there. So some people don't even know there is an About tab, but it's all there. If you did give this anything through Super Chat, thank you so much. A reminder that if you watch this on replay, you can also use the applaud button, and it works the same way. So either way, I just want to say thank you. You help support what I do here, and it means a lot. Likewise to all the channel members, everyone with green text. You guys are amazing. It's good to see you, and I know a lot of you show up for almost all of the readings, so I do appreciate that. Like and subscribe if you haven't. You can opt into notifications as well. And I'd love for you to follow me on social media. All of these links are on my website, which I gave earlier. My handle is just my full name, nothing before, nothing after. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Patreon. The first 3 up here, I will actually, by the end of the day, today I'm a little busy, so it'll take a little longer, but I always post the notes that I wrote out here by hand on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And I will use story reminders on all 3 of these as well to let you know when the new videos are coming through. And on Patreon, it's a great way for you to just give back if you prefer that to YouTube or any of the other methods that I talked about. So it's just my full name, @NicholasAshbaugh. On Twitter, my handle is @nashbaugh. And if you want to go to PayPal, it's paypal.me/NicholasAshbaugh. Just a reminder, on all social media platforms, I'm not going to be messaging you directly. I know someone did that in the past, so I'm just adding this to my my list of things that I do and don't do. I don't send messages out. I'm not going to ever ask for something in a message. So that's just a good common sense thing that I want to remind people. You're just going to receive a video here or a post in a public forum. I'm not going to directly solicit anything there. All right. So thank you so much. Beautiful messages today coming through for your sign. I'm looking forward actually to November. I think it's going to be a great month, and definitely a month of change. And we're overdue for some change in 2020. Maybe some positive change. We've had a lot of change, but it hasn't always been what we wanted. So step into this month with a feeling that you can do it, that you feel empowered, and that you're ready to spread your wings and do something amazing. I can't wait to see what it is. All right. Thanks, everybody. Sending much love and light. It's Monday. I will be back on Thursday and Friday of this week to do the next couple of signs. Again, that information will be up on my website, and I look forward to seeing you. All right. Take care, everybody. This will be on replay if you missed any part of the live reading. So just a reminder. All right. Talk to you soon. Thanks again.